Γεια σας παιδιά. Hi everyone. Είμαι η κυρία Πόλα και θα ήθελα σήμερα να μιλήσουμε λιγάκι για τα Χριστούγεννα. I would like to take a few minutes and talk about Christmas. Τα Χριστούγεννα προέρχονται από τις δύο λέξεις Χριστός και Γέννα, γιατί γιορτάζουμε τη γέννηση του Χριστού. Είναι μια γιορτή πολύ μαγική. Γιορτάζεται σε όλο τον κόσμο και φέτος είναι λίγο διαφορετικά τα πράγματα, αλλά εύχομαι όλοι σας να περάσετε όμορφα με τις οικογένειές σας και το αστέρι που βλέπετε στο δέντρο μου να σας φωτίζει όλους. I would just like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, and I would like to share a few things with you. First, I would like to make a wish that the star that you see on my tree lights everybody's lives during these difficult times, and I would also like to share with you a few links. 4 links is what I'm going to share. One link is a link with movies, short Greek Christmas films. The other link is videos from the carols, τα κάλαντα, from all over Greece, and the other video is of me making kurabiades, the snowball cookies as I call them. And the last video is one of an escape room, and I'm sharing it for a little bit of fun to end our year in a fun way. So enjoy my videos, and I wish to see you all very soon in the new year. Καλή χρονιά!
So we're gonna be making a traditional Greek dessert that we usually make for Christmas, Χριστούγεννα, and it is, if I show you this, I think everybody's gonna guess how messy it is with the sugar, kurabiades. To start, when you decide to make the kurabiades, you just have to make sure that you take the butter out from the night before. It's good for the batter to be very soft. Like, if you can see, I'm like pressing on it, and you can see how soft it is. So just make sure before you start making kurabiades that you have taken the butter out from the night before. So that's the key for this dessert. It's very easy, and I think you can do it without even getting any help from your parents. Λοιπόν, θα αρχίσω και θα βάλω το βούτυρο μέσα στο κάδο του μίξερ. Να φέρω ένα μαχαιράκι, συγγνώμη. Και όταν έχουμε ρίξει το βούτυρο όλο μέσα, μετά παίρνουμε τη ζάχαρη, άχνη. So the key for this dessert also is to use this sugar, the icing sugar. So you mix the icing sugar with the butter, τη ζάχαρη άχνη με το βούτυρο. So first I'm gonna start the mixer at 1, just so they can mix a bit and you don't make a really big mess. And then when it starts mixing together with the butter, the sugar, I'm gonna put the speed up. We want it to mix for 15 minutes. 15 λεπτά. So you put the butter and the sugar in, you start by low speed, and then eventually, when it becomes 1, you turn the speed up and you put it all the way. And you let that mix for 15 λεπτά. I'll be back. And 15 minutes have passed and we're back. Come and see how it's formed. Like it's so fluffy. See what happens after 15 minutes? So I'm gonna turn it down a little bit. We're gonna put it lower. And then we will add our vanilla and a little bit of alcohol. Some people don't like using alcohol in their cookies. You don't have to, it's optional. So I will add half a teaspoon, μισό κουταλάκι του γλυκού, so half a teaspoon of vanilla. I will add it to our mix. We'll let it mix a little bit. And like I said, the alcohol is optional. This is brandy, and I'm gonna add the brandy also, and I'm gonna let it mix for a little bit. Just turn it up a little bit. And we're not gonna mix it too much. We just want everything to mix together because we don't want the fluffiness to go away. So θέλουμε να είναι έτσι αφράτο. I'm gonna let it mix a little bit more. Turn it down. And as that's mixing, I'm gonna put my gloves on. And I have slivers of almonds here. I have 200 grams of almonds. And I like mine to be almost like powder. So with my hands, I'm gonna work it where they're gonna be they're very thin to begin with, but now with my hands, I'm crushing them. And soon, they're gonna look like, almost like powder. Bit more. I'm gonna turn the mixer off because like I said, we don't want that to mix too much and take our fluffiness away. So I'm still crushing the almonds. I want it, like I said, to look like powder at the end. Some others like to use pieces of almond. I personally like the slivers better. This is just my preference. So you use what you like the most. You like to bite onto your kurabiye and feel the nut, the almond. You don't use slivers. You use pieces of almonds. But I like it crushed, so I think I'm almost done. And what I'm gonna do, the reason why we make sure that it's crushed, το κάνουμε σαν σκόνη, like powder, is because when we mix it with the flour, we wanna make sure that the almond is so small, that way when we try to form our kurabiye, it doesn't break and it's nice and round. I find the sliver, when it's powder like that, our kurabiye forms nicely and it doesn't break when we try to make it into a snowball, I should say. So I'm gonna mix that with our flour. So I've used all-purpose flour. I have 700 grams of flour in the bowl. So I'm gonna mix it with the almond, the powder almond. And what I'm gonna do also, I'm gonna take my glove off for a second so it's not too messy. I'm gonna add in the mixture of flour and almond, alati, a little bit of salt, just a pinch. So I'm gonna take some with my finger here. I don't wanna add too much, so we gotta be careful. Like I said, just a pinch. And we're gonna add it inside. Put that aside. And mix our almond with the flour again, a little bit more. And then we're gonna go back to our butter and sugar, mix. Open it up. It's a bit stuck. Okay. Just make sure we mix it a little bit more, better. See how fluffy it is? So nice. Reminds me of Cool Whip. Looks so good. Yeah, so like I said before, this is the key of curabienes. The longer you mix it with the sugar and the fluffier it becomes, the better your curabienes. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna take our bowl off, if I can. It's a little bit hard. There we go. And I'm gonna add the flour and the almonds into our bowl. I'm gonna leave the gloves for a second just to add our flour to the mix. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna put our gloves back on. Θα βάλουμε τα γάντια μας. And we're gonna mix it with our spatula. We're not gonna put the mixture back on. We don't wanna, at this point, we don't wanna mix it too much. So we're gonna take our spatula and try and mix it all together. Just a little bit. And when you see that it becomes harder to mix, you're gonna use your hands. The reason why I have the gloves on, like I said, because we don't want the temperature from our hands to ruin this fluffiness that we've created with the butter. Because it's almost like it's risen, so we want it to stay like that. Mix it a little bit more with the spatula. And I think now I'm gonna use my hands. Mix it all together. Το ανακατεύουμε καλά. Όχι όμως πολύ ώρα. Το ανακατεύουμε να πάνε τα αμύγδαλα και τα αμύγδαλα και το αλεύρι παντού. Mixing it, made sure that everything's mixed together, the flour and everything. And now we're gonna make it into little snowballs. Micros balitzes. We try not to make them too big. So about 20 to 30 grams would be perfect, I guess. And when we roll it together to form into a little snowball, we just make sure we treat it almost like a baby with love. We don't press on it too hard, or we're not too rough when we do it. Almost like this size. And then what I do with my kurabiye is I press in the middle like this. That way, when our kurabiye is baked, then it's baked evenly, and the inside part is not still raw when you take them out. So we're gonna put them in the oven. I've turned my oven on the air at 350, and once that's ready and it beeps, I'm gonna put our kurabiyedes in, and you bake them, like I said, at 350 στους 350 βαθμούς, and you leave them in for 20 to 25 minutes. It really depends on your oven. Usually mine need 25 minutes. So we're gonna keep doing that until we fill up our baking pan, or tapsi. And then we're gonna place the pan in the oven. Και ο τελευταίος μου, the last one. And now we're gonna get ready and put them in the oven. Θα τους βάλουμε στο φούρνο 350 βαθμούς για 25 λεπτά. Οι κουραμπιέδες μας είναι έτοιμοι. They're all ready. I'm gonna take a few. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put some icing sugar on the plate first. That way, our κουραμπιέδες have some on the bottom too. And then we're gonna add a few more κουραμπιέδες. In Greece, they like to use rose water. It's called anthonero. But me and my family, we don't like it. It has a unique taste and we don't really like it, so we don't use it. But I have it here. I wanted to show you what it looks like. If you want to use it, what you do is you just put a little bit, like sprinkle a little bit on top of the κουραβιέδες before you add the icing sugar. And I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna add the icing sugar. Θα βάλω τη ζάχαρη χωρίς το ανθόνερο. Let it snow, let it snow. I'll put a few more on top. And be generous with your sugar. We all know that the kurabiye is good when it's messy. Μην τη λιπόσαστε τη ζάχαρη, βάλτε αρκετή. And our κουραβιέδες are ready. Και του χρόνου να είμαστε καλά. And I will let you go now so I can stuff my face. Σας αφήσω για να φάω μερικούς. Χρόνια πολλά!